In this lesson, you're going to learn how to write a counterargument. Counterargument is when you acknowledge what someone who doesn't totally agree with you might believe. Counterargument is a writing technique that has the power to really strengthen your argument if done well. So let's look at how to write a counterargument. Well, step number 1, you're going to acknowledge the opposing argument. I want you to ask yourself, what is my audience thinking that might influence if they believe my argument or not? And then step number 2, you're going to explain why it isn't a credible argument or why your argument is stronger. So let's look at a silly example. So this is a picture of my dog my dog Watson and my daughter Elizabeth. It was taken about a year ago when she was learning to eat solids. So let's imagine that we're overhearing this conversation. Watson is trying to convince Elizabeth to let him eat her strawberries. So here's Watson. You should let me eat the rest of those strawberries. Here's Elizabeth. I'm just learning to eat by myself and I really like strawberries. I want to eat them. So Watson is now going to use this technique to try to convince her. He's going to acknowledge the opposing argument. He's going to acknowledge what Elizabeth might be thinking or what she might believe. And then he's going to explain why his argument is stronger. So let's see what he does. Girl, I know that you're digging this eating thing, right? He's acknowledging what she might be thinking. However, you know it's going to take you forever to just get one of those strawberries in your mouth. And you're a messy eater. I could clean up that tray in no time, and you'd think it's so silly to watch me jump up on your high chair. So Watson is able to use counterargument to really strengthen his argument and convince Elizabeth. So let's see how you can use counterargument in your own writing. So counterargument can go a lot of places in an argumentative essay. It can go in the intro, it can go at the beginning of the concluding paragraph, or it can go at the beginning of one of your 3 body paragraphs. And in this essay, we're going to ask you just to plug it in right at the beginning of one of your 3 body paragraphs. So right now, I want for you to start by asking yourself, what is my audience thinking that might influence if they believe my argument or not? What's something that they might already believe that really is causing them to maybe not agree with my central claim? So my central claim is that girls lose interest in STEM in middle school and high school. So some people might believe that girls actually just aren't intrinsically as interested in science and math, that science and math really are boy things, that guys just are way more interested in how things work. So now what I want to do is I want to find a body paragraph that I could plug that right at the beginning of, that it would make sense. So I'm going to choose this first one, gender stereotypes cause girls to lack confidence in their abilities in STEM. Because I think that if someone really did believe that boys are just more naturally interested in science and math, that I can actually then acknowledge that and then argue that it's actually not because guys are more interested, it's because gender stereotypes cause girls to feel less confident in their abilities in science and math. So I'm going to try it right at the beginning of my first body paragraph. And I know you probably don't have room to write it at the beginning of your first body paragraph or one of your body paragraphs because your body paragraphs are already written. So you can either write it right at the top or you can write it on a different page and then just plug it in when you type your draft. So step number 1, I'm going to acknowledge the opposing claim. And I'm going to use one of these 3 sentence starters to do that. So some people might believe that, many argue that, or opponents to blank might argue that. So I'm going to use this first one. Some people might believe that. So some people might believe that girls don't pursue STEM jobs because girls are less interested in these subject areas than boys. So I'm acknowledging the opposing argument. I'm acknowledging what my reader might actually be thinking. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to explain why this isn't a credible argument, why girls aren't actually just less interested in science and math. Although it is true that less middle school and high school girls show interest in STEM-related clubs and activities, this is actually due to gender stereotypes. So I'm using my counterargument here just to lead into this first body paragraph, because then my next sentence is my topic sentence, my claim that gender stereotypes cause girls to lack confidence in their abilities in STEM. I want you to notice how short your counterargument is. Mine is really only 2 sentences, and I'm using it just to lead into my first body paragraph, but you can really choose any of your 3 body paragraphs. Okay, get started writing.